Perhaps.
You never know.
Now, it was a night of ballads, big hair and block voting. But despite high hopes, the UK has once again failed to shine at the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yes, the British entry, sung by Engelbert Humperdinck, came second to last with, well, not 0 points, but not much better, 12 points. In the end, the night belonged to Swedish singer Loreen, who beat off competition from a group of Russian grannies to be crowned the winner.
Here she is, performing her song Euphoria. Should warn you, this clip does include some flashing lights. That's enough of that. That's the winner. Let's talk to Liam Jarnecki. He's a huge fan of Eurovision. Perhaps feeling a little bit delicate this morning after partying while watching last night. Did you enjoy it?
Oh, of course. It was a great show last night.
I'm surprised you say it was a great show, because I was following lots of tweets. I wasn't able to watch it, and people were quite disappointed by the production of the programme last night. Usually it's really glitzy and people really get involved, but they seemed a little bit subdued. Why do you think that might be?
It was incredibly glitzy. It was over glitzy last night, if anything. The Azerbaijanis chucked millions of pounds at it, incredible ostentatious fireworks all over the place. And so, in terms of the glitz, that was definitely there, but it was all quite sort of fresh in the sense that you didn't feel it was being produced by sort of Swedes or Germans in a kind of sophisticated way we're used to, and that was a bit evident, I think. The other problem was the start was really, really slow. The first 5 songs were very, very slow, and that is one of the factors that has affected Engelbert's result.
OK, well, let's see and hear Engelbert now, because, of course, he was up first, wasn't he? Let's see him.
If you love someone, follow your heart, 'cause love comes once if you're lucky enough. Though I'll miss you forever and the hurt will run deep.
So I know you and others have said that going first was the problem, that you can never win with a song like that, but surely if it was a good enough song, you'd do better than 12 points.
Well, going first was one of the problems. The first thing that went wrong for Engelbert was a week after he was announced, the grannies were announced, and that really took away his one of his unique selling points as being the oldest person in the contest. Then that song, it's a waltz, it's in 3/4 time, it begins in D minor, there's a key change into B flat, it's quite a complex piece.
Lacking the energy of the grannies who we're seeing here, and they were second, weren't they?
Yeah, they did come second in the end. Well, they in Sweden, basically, they had a landslide. They won for every single jury in Europe, apart from Swiss, actually, voted for the Russians last night.
Why are they getting biscuits out?
Well,
because they're grannies.
What is all this about?
Well, you'd hope your granny would give you biscuits. That's a revolving oven. It's done by remote control, that oven. There's no one inside it, and they're making their special babushki cakes.
It's completely bizarre.
It's interesting because I didn't realise it, but apparently these grannies have been in adverts that have appeared all over
They
Europe.
certainly have. They're advertising a well-known type of lemonade.
And the lady who won, the Swedish act, who was #1 in the end, she was an established act from Sweden who'd got experience across Europe in the charts. I wonder whether that's the thing. You have to have a current high-profile presence across Europe these days to stand a chance of winning. I know Engelbert Humperdinck had a history, but he's not necessarily charting.
I think that's very perceptive. Hype has an awful lot to do with generating televotes, and there was certainly an awful lot of hype about the grannies. Loreen had got into the news herself because she accidentally swallowed one of her own snowflakes in the dress rehearsal, so that kind of went viral. So, you know, you're absolutely right. Hype makes a big difference. But Engelbert's problems were the grannies, the draw at #1, and then he was followed by a series of up-tempo songs. The thing about Engelbert's song, it was a kind of antidote to the froth and bubble of Eurovision. If you're on at #1, you're not the antidote to anything, are you? And so it got a bit lost. And then there are kind of other issues around some of the outstanding vocals that we heard last night from some of the performers. So he just got a bit overshone. But he's been a credit to this country, and he's a great performer. I'm very proud that we had him, and I don't think anyone should have any regrets at all. Maybe
Liam.
what the BBC needs to think about is taking a bit longer to plan the event, because I think they only assembled the team in January when a lot of the songs were already selected.
Well, that's something to look at next time. But what about Jedward? What do you make of their performance?
Well,
living proof that hype isn't everything.
They've had exactly the same fate as Engelbert and the Norwegians and the Danes, in that Sweden has swept away everything before it in a landslide last night, and all of Jedward's vote from last year across Northern Europe, the Baltic, blonde Europe you might call it, which voted for Jedward last year, disappeared last night. It transferred to Sweden. The whole of Western Europe voted for Sweden in a massive, I hesitate to use the word block because it's a very sensitive word, but that's really what's happened. And Sweden and Russia have basically got almost 100% on the scoreboard. Last year, the winner got 221 points. This year, the winner got over 370. So there are a lot less points for the other nations to be getting. There's only a certain amount of points, about 3,400 on the scoreboard at the end of the night. So distribution is not a very exciting factor, but it's a very important factor.
I'm just watching Naga's face here, watching the screen as Jed. You're spellbound by that, aren't you?
I'm so pleased I didn't watch it, because it's just so bizarre. I mean, they look ridiculous, and some of the acts on there look really odd. It doesn't seem as if it's music. I mean, maybe it's just because we have such different taste in music, but you would never put something like that out in the UK or Ireland. I'm sure no one would buy a song like that. Why would the Europeans like it?
Well, people are buying Jedward, aren't they? That's the thing. Jedward are an incredibly popular act, not just in the UK and Ireland, but across Northern Europe. It's just they got beaten last night by something that's going to be more popular.
For Eurovision, do you have to be ridiculous? Is it always the ridiculous that's going to make it through to represent the country?
It varies from year to year, and you can never tell. Sometimes the public is in the mood for something ridiculous, and sometimes it isn't. Last night there was a serious vote for Sweden and a kind of comedy vote for the grannies.
There we go. This is the best bit.
There they are in the fountain, yes, getting themselves very wet. But that gimmick hasn't worked for them last night. But it's not really a reflection on them. It's a reflection on the fact that there was something better that's going to be a smash hit all over Europe that's already been number one in several countries.
No,
Surely
you couldn't
not.
get better than that.
Liam, thank you very much. I'm really worried about what you're going to do for the rest of the year now, but you'll be back a bit later to talk.
Well, we've only got 51 weeks to go till Stockholm 2013.
Prepare.
So let's start planning now.
We'll see you soon.
Thanks very much.
Liam.
Let us know as well if you've got thoughts on what we could do to do better next time. Do let us know what you think. Later as well on Breakfast this morning, the first week of the Olympic torture.